Good evening. The regular meeting of the Independent School District 279 School Board is called to order at 6 o'clock p.m. on April 23rd, 2024. This regular business meeting of the Osseo School Board is being conducted in the boardroom of the Educational Service Center. The meeting can be monitored electronically by streaming online from the district website. An archived recording of tonight's meeting will also be available on the district website. Seated in front of you this evening from my left and your right is Director Thomas Brooks, Director Heather Douglas, Director Tanya Prince, myself, Jackie Mosqueda Jones, Director Mitchell is not here tonight, and Director Tamara Grady. Superintendent Dr. Kim Heil and the members of the Superintendent's Cabinet are also here this evening. And our student school board representatives for the 23-24 school year that are present are Mina Beatty for Park Center Senior High, Hafiza Adam for Osseo Senior High, and Reason Atkin for 279 online, and Izzy Andor for the Osseo Area Learning Center. Also present in the boardroom is Muwada, who is a former school board representative who got a full scholarship to St. Mary's. Those of you who can, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Director Grady, will you please lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, board members, are there any additions to the agenda? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to accept the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Moved by Director Douglas, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Brooks. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes 5-0. All right, our next standing agenda item is recognitions, one of our favorite times. After board members and student board representatives have moved to stand in front of the board dais, I ask that Maple Grove Wrestling coach Troy Siebert, sorry if I mispronounced that, please come to the podium to introduce our first scholar to be recognized, Ben Schultz. We would like to have a group photo taken after Ben is recognized. Let's move to the dais.
So this is Ben Schultz, as you said. He was a state finalist this year, took second in state in AAA for wrestling. Two-time section champion. Two-time all-state wrestler and a great leader for our team. So.
Okay, Ben, you're back up here.
All right, big smiles. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, Jessica and Courtney will now introduce the Fernbrook Elementary School's Technical for Real team, who placed second at the Destination Imagination Technical Team competitions. Congratulations will be followed by a group photo again.
I'm short. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jessica Spurl, and I am a fourth grade teacher and DI coach at Fernbrook Elementary.
And my name is Courtney Carlson, and I'm also a fourth grade teacher at Fernbrook.
And just a little background of what Destination Imagination is. It's a project-based, kid-driven program that teaches kids to be innovative problem solvers. Using STEM and creativity, teams of students collaborate, think outside of the box, create unique solutions to one of 7 different challenges in preparation for a state competition. These teams that we're recognizing tonight both chose the technical challenge, which this year included them building a pinball machine with technical elements. Then they had to create an action adventure story about a hero who goes on an extraordinary mission.
So Fernbrook had 7 teams competing at this year's state competition. People of Pi came in first place in the technical challenge, and Technical for Real came in second place. And they have chosen to move on to Globals, which will be held in Kansas City on May 22nd. We're so proud of the work that they have demonstrated and the accomplishments that they have achieved throughout the seasons. So congratulations to the following students. From the team People of Pi, first we have Callie Frank, Ron Niekamp, Finn Archer, Jackson Shea, Charlie Ramsey, Henry Hart,
And then we have from the team Technical for Real, we have Cooper Haven, Aiden Buski, Ronan Osterberg, Louis Fodstad, and not able to be here tonight is Andrew Barthel.
We would like the students to stand right in front of us, please, so we can all get in the pictures.
That's right.
Because it's all about you.
Our style and destination imagination. Right?
Okay, I'm gonna sneak one more. Big smiles. Okay, thank you.
Oh, it's because they have two different. That makes sense.
Okay, destination imagination is no joke, y'all. It's very cool. It's no joke. So, be proud, Fernbrook. Thank you. I'm just waiting for a half a second for the room to clear a little bit. Okay, our next agenda item is Student School Board Representative Reports. Reason, will you please share your report?
All had the opportunity to take the ACT test today. Grades 9 through 12, or students who didn't take the ACT test today, worked asynchronously. Sophomores were highly recommended and encouraged to take the pre-ACT test to prepare for their junior year. Elementary and secondary MCAs were finished up this past week, and scholars tested on subjects consisting of reading, math, and science. Many national holidays have occurred since the last time we have met, such as Earth Day, as we teach the importance to elementary school scholars to help save the planet. Many also celebrated Easter, and we all kissed Ramadan away as we began to feast again. Some have also celebrated the Passover, and others have been fooled on April Fool's Day. I'm sure students had just as much fun celebrating these holidays as the adults did filing their taxes. This month, our school celebrated their LGBTQ+ month, and along with other schools, we all had a dedicated time at the beginning of this month to take some time to learn more about the LGBTQ plus history and culture. Lessons were held during advisory as scholars were plainly educated on a topic that typically has misconceptions or little known information that is accurate. In April, we are also celebrating Long Heritage Month, as we love to acknowledge the importance of every race and culture within our school, showing cultural appreciation and awareness. I'd like to finish off by thanking Dr. Heil for visiting our school at the beginning of this month, and as she allowed me to interview her by asking her fabulous questions regarding to those that don't know what the role of a superintendent is. Our interview aired on our 279 online news broadcast, and pictures were also shared on the website as well. As we both have a birthday this week, I would also like to say happy birthday to our beautiful superintendent as well. As always, the weather is getting nicer and students are getting antsy for summer break to arrive. But we are doing well and staying committed to our academics. Thank you so much.
Izzy, will you please share your report?
Hello, I'm Izzy, and I'm a senior at the OLC. Did you know that in Duluth, in 1923, black men, Ellis Clayton, Elmore Jackson, and Isaac McGee, were lynched due to the accusation that they robbed and assaulted a white woman, which after their death was proven to be false? It took almost 100 years to recognize their innocence and pardon them. Now there is a memorial in Duluth to honor them. This is just one of the many things that we got to learn at the African American Heritage Museum. I first like to encourage you to visit the museum and learn more about a big part of Minnesota history that goes untaught in our classrooms, but also to read more about Black history as a whole, not just the terrible, but also the incredible. The credit earning rate continues to be higher than years past. Since our last meeting, we had 4 new graduates, and students are continuing to work hard to achieve their goals of graduation. After spring break, our ever-growing SLT group put together a Spirit Week, an activity day where students had opportunities to play games, win prizes, have snacks, and more. The themes were Meme Day, Senior Citizen Day, White Lie Day, Celebrity Day, and School Spirit Day. Also during Spirit Week, OLC celebrated Pride Month with our LGBTQ+ lesson that we got to learn about in advisory. The lesson taught us the basics of respecting people and honoring their identity and pronouns. We also got to learn about the LGBTQ+ history with an interactive timeline and world map. We could pick time periods and areas to learn more about the LGBTQ+ experiences. I heard positive remarks from my classmates about it. They felt heard and seen, and I think this is an important topic to be teaching. We need to get comfortable doing the uncomfortable, otherwise how will we change? Everyone deserves to be taught history that resides in their truth. Everyone deserves to be respected. A local guest artist came to make recovery drug abuse banners during our art exploratory. The Remember Love Recovery Project is dedicated to destigmatize addiction disorder by cultivating community, transforming awareness, and spreading accurate information. I think it's a beautiful reminder that we are all human, even through our choices, love can save many. This Thursday, the MapStar students will travel to Mankato for our overnight competition. Our students and teachers have been preparing for a couple of months. MapStar is a competition between Minnesota alternative schools. There are multiple categories where students will compete for important life skills. Some of these categories are interview, life smarts similar to Jeopardy, public speaking, parent and/or manager decision making, career portfolio, and more. Students can also submit artwork, and other students can leave comments about the work. Last year was extremely fun, and I'm looking forward to the trip. I'm grateful to MapStars for teaching me necessary skills that I can carry with me outside of high school, but also for helping me step out of my comfort zone and do something that I've never done before. I'm excited to add to our collection wall full of MapStars plaques that students have won in the past. Also to see my peers execute what they've been working really hard on. Thank you for listening.
All right, Mina, will you please share your report?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mina Beatty, and I'm the representative for Park Center. As we near the end of the school year for students, this is such a bittersweet time for myself and many others. There are only 8 Sundays left until graduation Sunday, and I already know they will fly by quite fast. I have been a part of this district since elementary school, and now having this opportunity to represent my school on the district board is such a surreal and wholesome experience for me. Jumping into what has been going on at PC recently, today all juniors took the ACT test and sophomores took the pre-ACT test. If you were lucky enough to be a freshman or a senior like myself, we didn't have school today, and trust me, you're lucky. I do not miss having to take that test at all. This past Wednesday as well, the Brooklyn Park Raising Canes collaborated with Park Center to raise money for our senior class party, which takes place June 4th, which is the seniors' last day of school. From what I heard, the fundraiser went well, and it was such a great excuse to go eat canes, so I think that's a win-win. That same Wednesday, the 17th, Park Center hosted their annual Say Yes to the Dress event, where students could stop by the South Gym after school and pick out a free dress or suit to wear to our upcoming prom, which is May 11th. This is such a great opportunity to pick out dresses, suits, shoes, jewelry, belts, and all sorts of accessories for free. This gives students the chance to feel and look their best at prom without spending hundreds of dollars on something you'll probably only wear once anyways. This last week at PC, the AP and IB art students put together their final art exhibition. This showcased numerous artworks students had completed, and I was so impressed with all the artistic talent that fills my school. Additionally, this past Friday, PC hosted a send-off for our sophomore Juliana Samuels as she competed in the Minnesota State Speech Tournament this past weekend. Great job to her and all the other participating students as well. As we conclude this month of April, students, including myself, are preparing for IB and AP exams, which are expected to start taking place within the next week and go through May. Good luck to all those students. And finally, the NHS will be hosting our final blood drive May 1st, which we had such an amazing turnout last blood drive and are hoping for the same results with this one. And thank you everyone, and have a good rest of your evening.
Hafiza, will you please share your report?
Hello, I'm Hafiza. Good evening, everyone. As the month of April comes to a close, the countdown to graduation is now 47 days away, and yes, I am counting. It's crazy how fast time flies. As we look ahead to graduation day, we can't forget about prom. This year, the theme for our prom is Midnight Masquerade. Prom ticket sales will kick off sometime in May, so keep an eye out for that. As Mina mentioned, we also did have a Say Yes to the Dress event at our school as well. It was a really cool event held for juniors and seniors to try on and look at prom dresses. They even did a prom dress giveaway, which was like a really awesome addition. An event that is a must-see is the upcoming production of the musical Curtains by the talented students in our drama department. They have worked tirelessly for months to bring this entertaining murder mystery to life. Make sure to purchase tickets on the Osseo Drama Department website for the upcoming performances that will take place on April 26th and 7th at 7 p.m. With the help of NHS students volunteering their time and the staff from North Memorial Hospital, they were able to pull off yet another successful blood drive. Props to all the students who donated blood and helped those in need. Shout out to all the juniors who took their ACTs today, and I'm sure they're relieved to have that day behind them now. With National College Decision Day on May 1st rapidly approaching, I want to give a shout out to all my fellow seniors. The college process was tough, with FAFSA acting like really weird. And of course it's class of 2024, but I'm not saying much. The college process was tough, but you made it through. Be proud of yourselves. That's all I've got for updates, and thank you and have a great evening.
The student representatives review the board meeting packet in advance and are prepared to answer questions from board members on issues to seek student input related to agenda items for this evening's meeting. We only have one action item today, which is the gifts from the district, but we do have informational items with policies that were up for review. And also our student board representatives joined us at our work session last time. I found it amazing, so thank you for being there. So does anybody have any questions for our student board representatives?
Yeah, I have a question. So how did you enjoy participating in the work session, and how did you find that different than a board meeting?
I'll go real quick, sorry. I enjoyed my participation in the work session. I felt like it was a good experience to talk one-on-one with you guys, and while it was open to the public, I felt like it was more, not private, but it felt more comfortable being able to say what I felt was good to say to you guys, and also just felt a lot more like we were being heard and appreciated, which obviously we already are feeling that way, but that was kind of like a little cherry on top of that, because then that gave us the opportunity to expand on our thinkings, because obviously 3-minute recaps of what goes on at our school are great, but it doesn't really get into the nitty-gritty or to the deeper parts of what goes on in our schools. So I feel like that was a great experience for all of us who attended to share some of our input and insights that go on at our school. And, you know, it's all about making things better and having a positive impact. So I felt like that contributed to that. So thank you. I appreciate you guys for having us there.
I agree with Mina. I think that it was a really good opportunity. I like the fact that we were involved. A lot of decisions that are made for schooling, a lot of the time students are not either listened to or asked about their perspective. So I like that you guys kind of reached out to us to see how we felt about what you guys were speaking on. Yeah, basically what she said.
And for those in the public who, you know, we don't broadcast the work sessions, we do record them, but I would invite you to listen to that recording because the participation of the students was really valuable to the discussion, and it's just such a very different setting than our board meeting, so I'd encourage you to listen to it.
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to comment, adding on to what Tanya was saying, is that having your perspective at that table it's invaluable. It really is. Your perspectives, and I'm sure you could tell in that moment, you each came with something different, and you brought something different to us, and that is really what it's all about. And for me as a board member, that's the kind of interaction that I've been just really excited to have with you guys. So thank you for participating and being comfortable with like just sharing some of those more personal or deeper perspectives and what your experiences are in your schools. So thank you.
I just want to end with thank you for sharing your brilliance with us at this meeting and at the work session, and hopefully the next work session as well. It's always good to hear from the scholars and to hear their brilliance sharing with us, so thank you so much. Okay, our next agenda item is audience opportunity to address the school board. I've got a few things to say before that. I want to remind everyone that regardless of your point of view on matters before the board, we have the best interest in our scholars in mind, and we want our children to care about each other even when there's disagreement. We strive to be one community, and in doing so, decorum matters in this public space as we share perspectives. Speakers will be called to the podium in this order: students, parents, staff, community members, and others. I do want to note that we did have one student that requested not to be in the beginning, which I totally, completely understand. So she will be in farther down the line. When I call your name, please come to the microphone and state your name, the topic, and whether or not you're a district resident or student or parent. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes. You'll get a 30-second warning. Address the entire board. That means we're not addressing an individual board member or the audience verbally or with posters and or literature. If you have handouts for board members, please give them to Sherry or put them on the table over there and we'll get them. The board and audience will listen and not respond back at this time. If you would like someone to follow up with you on your questions and or comments, please let the board secretary know. Comments and interactions between board members and the public are expected to be respectful, courteous, professional, and civil, of course. For the good of our community, personnel concerns should be directed to the individuals in this order: the building principal, the executive director for human resources, the assistant superintendent, and finally in writing to the school board. I appreciate your patience in hearing all of that. Our first speaker is Queen Naima Pure Earth.
Hello everybody, my name is Queen Ava Pure Earth and I am a senior who attends Park Center Senior High School. My topic of today is going to be the LGBTQ+ course that was showed to the district, to schools around the district a few weeks ago. I'm an AP and IB student, along with being the captain of the sideline cheer team and a member of other various clubs and activities, and I also happen to be bisexual. Recently, a course was shared with staff and students in advisory that discussed LGBTQ+ people. Plenty of people will come to take a stand against the idea of the course, but why does nobody talk about the actual content in the slides? No one mentions the timeline showcasing the amazing things many LGBTQ+ people have done throughout our decade, and definitely not the slide with a list of LGBTQ+ adults succeeding in a wide range of careers. That's the issue. Many people have stripped the LGBTQ+ community of our humanity. To them, we are merely a debate topic seen as something to argue over at school board meetings, and that's why people are so comfortable with attempting to censor our stories. Courses like the one shared with students, including LGBTQ+ ones, show them that there is a life before and after them. It's so easy to get caught up in the tragedies of your life today. In fact, according to research done by the Trevor Project, LGBTQ+ teens are 4 times more likely to attempt suicide. Sharing the stories of LGBTQ+ people through things such as the course shows these students that there is a life after high school. It also shows them that there is a life outside of students walking out of a classroom at even the mention of their identity, and it shows them that there is a life outside of parents and staff treating their experiences as nothing more than something to argue over. It's important to recognize that when speaking about the LGBTQ+ community, you're talking about a group of humans, not a concept or an agenda, a community of people with feelings, thoughts, and dreams, just like you. So I ask that as the school board, you continue to lead with compassion and take a stand against bigotry disguised as free speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Queen. I always appreciate when students share their voice. The next person is Khalid El Hassan.
Thank you very much. It's actually Khalid Al Hassan, the name. I'm a parent of a student here.
Sorry about that, Khalid.
Hmm?
I apologize for mispronouncing your name.
No, that's okay. We're used to that. Yeah, so I'm a parent of multiple students who went through the school board, through the school district. I want to talk about the LGBTQ issue. Okay, I'll try to stick to the 3 minutes. So, good evening. My name is Khalid Al Hassan. I'm a district resident and parent of a student. Multiple students went through the school system. Based on the events of April 3rd, as a large amount of students opted out of the LGBTQ curriculum, in some schools, nearly half the students opted out. Okay, it is clear that the students in our district would desire a neutral school environment, not for or against, just a neutral school environment. Students do not want to be told what to think about these topics. They want the school to stay out of this topic. That was very clear. Students that walked out were diverse, and their reasons were varied. Different reasons, different religions, different ethnicities, different backgrounds, whatever it is, they want the school to stay out of this. Neutral schools require a neutral school board in terms of activism or lack thereof. Our district needs a school board members who will focus on the factors that unite us: the desire for education excellence, the safety for our students, the positive school environment, rather than the topics that divide us. Our next steps are now very important. What positive movement will the school board make from here onwards? And by positive, that means the things that represent our school district the best. Will we work together to reflect the desire of our community that the school board represents? The Osceola School Board District deserves a board that actively listens to the community, both before policies and resolutions are created while they are being implemented. But now is the time for the school board to step up and show the community that you hear and you care about our feedback. The school district deserves a school board that does just that: unite us and listen. I believe we have so many positives going on for our school district. I know I'm proud to have my children, 3 children.
30 seconds remaining.
Go through the District 279, but let's focus on the work that helps our students. We have a great network of staff in our school district, and I'm thankful for them. Just let's focus on what makes us one district rather than what divides us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Khalid. Michelle Strait.
Hi, Michelle Strait. I'm a parent and resident in the school district.
On April 3rd, a significant event unfolded at our local high schools as thousands of students chose to opt out and walk out of class instead of attending the scheduled LGBTQIA history and culture lesson. This lesson was part of the resolution that the school board passed in 2022 with a 4-2 vote, despite concerns that were voiced from parents, teachers, and the community. We are grateful that the district emailed families so that many were informed of the lesson and were given the opportunity to opt out. I also appreciate the time that the district and school leadership spent working through my concerns. The lack of support for this resolution and the gender identity policy should not be mistaken for a lack of support or respect for our students. While I support and stand with all students, I don't support that the school should adopt and teach controversial viewpoints that negatively affect many. Teaching children that they can be born in the wrong body and that they can identify as the opposite sex has very far-reaching consequences on sex-based privacy and opportunities. Our children's health will be permanently affected if they are led down the pathway of taking puberty blockers and wrong sex hormones. While I believe that the action of opting out of the lesson was admirable, it is disappointing that it came to this, as it was an avoidable situation. Students were placed in a very difficult position of making a personal choice that may appear to slight one group. They did not ask for this. In response to this large and visible resistance, I've been hearing that some want to push even stronger forward with lessons on gender identity and sexual orientation, as they see this opt-out as proof that students and parents are in error and are not educated enough about this topic. This mindset of forcing others to agree with unproven theories is the opposite of respecting personal boundaries. Discussions regarding sexual orientation and gender identity are significant and complex. It's important that these topics are approached sensitively within the family framework rather than integrated into school curriculum. It's time to focus our efforts on creating a school atmosphere that is characterized by mutual respect, academic pursuits, and activities that help our students develop their full potential. A commitment to openness and ensuring adequate information is provided to families so that we can be an integral part of our child's education must be a part of this mindset. We strongly encourage the board to carefully reassess the adoption of the LGBT+ initiatives
30 seconds
and prioritize
remaining.
education that is impartial and honors the diverse viewpoints and beliefs of all community members in an environment where everyone can coexist and thrive. Thank you.
Melissa Kolash? Now tell me how to say your last name for real. Kolash. Kolash, okay.
My name is Melissa Kolash, and I have 2 children here in the district, and I'm obviously a resident here. As a mother of a student in the district, I did want to address the LGBTQIA+ lesson, and specifically the addition of the opt-out. I do like to believe in the goodness of people, and I do like to believe that people aren't here with an intent to harm others. But I feel like when we make things opt out, it is really clear that we are sending a message to our LGBTQIA students that you don't matter. Education has not been opt-in. We don't opt into every lesson. We don't get to check a box to say, yes, I want to show up today. And there are clear opt-out processes when parents feel strongly about a specific lesson or topic. So I don't know many students who, given the option, would say, yeah, let's hang out, let's stay in class. I think that sounds like a great idea when I can have a free-for-all and spend time with my friends. I know it's been a while since I've been in high school, but I'm pretty sure I know what I would have chosen, and I would have been hanging out in the halls with my friends because that sounds like more fun to me than sitting in the lesson. And I think we have a very vocal minority in the school district, and both the board, the district, and those in that vocal minority need to understand the damage done. When we say to a group of people that we cannot be bothered to learn about your experience for less than 1/10 of 1% of the entire school year, that you just don't matter, and that we are gonna ask people if they want the option to participate in learning about others, there is real harm done. And when I was in school, I was not taught that it's okay to disrespect people. As early as kindergarten, I learned that you call people by the name they prefer to be called. It doesn't matter if they were born Joseph and want to be called Joey, or if they were born Sam and want to be called Shelley. You call them by what they want to be called, and the name on their birth certificate is not the most important thing. I'm really saddened that human decency has become political, and I find that completely unacceptable. We hear a lot about keeping politics out of school, but I don't feel that respect is political, and I urge you to continue on the path that you're doing and continue to find
30
opportunities
seconds
for
remaining.
us to share with others and help people just show respect to one another, because that seemed to be the point of the lesson to me. And so I'm disappointed with what I'm hearing in the room.
Thank you, Melissa. Nikki Kolash?
Okay, hello, I'm Nikki. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a junior at 279 Online and a queer student in the district. I serve this district on the LGBTQ plus advisory school board committee and my school's senior student leadership team. I thought I'd be coming here fully with gratitude, and while I am grateful to the district for putting the time and effort into putting this lesson together, making this lesson happen, I'm even more grateful to the team of people who actually put this lesson together, with thoughtfulness and consideration for all students. This is the first LGBTQ lesson to be taught in all high school advisories, and that's a stepping stone to be proud of. But to be honest, this was the most basic history lesson I've been taught in high school. I thought though I am grateful, I'm highly disappointed in the last minute changes to the lesson that have caused so much harm to my fellow students, staff, and me. The first slide telling students they could opt out, you might as well say LGBTQ people, voices in history do not matter. That is dehumanizing. This lesson has been worked on and talked about for a very long time. The fact that a slide was added last minute is crazy. Every part of the lesson was intentionally scripted to support teachers in delivering a sound and safe lesson. Adding the first slide with no context and no script left teachers confused, and some teachers with less than good intentions saying whatever they wanted to, causing more harm. The way this was handled was unsafe. The district kind of saved themselves and put LGBTQ people out, as they often are. If any of my teachers told me I could leave class, I would, simply because I was told I could, not because of the content. In any class, if you are learning about someone different than yourself, you are not given an opportunity to leave because it is an important educational opportunity. This never would have happened for any other topic. The point of education is to learn about others and hear other topics and perspective. At any time, a parent can opt their child out of any lesson. Why was this treated any differently than the English class taken the same day? Can you imagine if at the start of every class, every student in the class was asked if they opted in or out of the lesson that day, which did happen in some classrooms? That would hardly be an education. This lesson should not be out of the ordinary. We should talk about all people, different than ourselves and similar. Earlier this year in advisory, we had a lesson about Indigenous people that had, to my knowledge, no backlash. Why was this treated any differently? We should talk about all people, not just the ones, like the mainstream ones or ones we like. I would like to end with a quote from Winston Churchill. Those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it, end quote. We should not let that happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. Jill Budzinski.
I'm Jill Budzinski. Well, history does repeat itself. It took a half century, but here we are again. Then it was called the generation gap. Young adults demanding their rights and calling out moral wrongs. The older generation clinging to the idea that society should be ruled by bygone standards. 55 years ago, students had good reason to protest the unjust Vietnam War they were drafted into. Parents opposed their kids' protests, calling the teens unpatriotic for resisting the government's call-up. In the civil rights era, once again, young adults were often on one side, protesting segregation as unjust, while the older generation was often against change, protecting the status quo through silent and violent opposition. We can be so much better now than we were then. We can listen to our kids and see them as the semi-independent young adults they are becoming. If they don't share our family values by the time they hit high school, it's really too late. They want their say. They don't want their books or lessons banned. They want respect and they want the whole truth. We can see their need to be trusted, and we can realize that for them, sexual preference and gender identity are not fictitious or sinful. They're biological and valid. As a 64% students of color district, we can recognize our kids need to be respected, called by their preferred names, and equipped to solve conflict nonviolently. These are their needs. The Bitter Division in the Anoka-Hennepin School District next door is what we saw in the 60s, and a taste of what we will see here unless we try to bridge the gap that has opened up. It's not generational, it's a values gap. This gap that exists between the idea of protecting kids from the realities of life versus teaching them to be responsible, well-informed adults who think for themselves. This gap that exists between what some parents want banned from their kids' lessons
30 seconds remaining.
versus what their kids want to learn and need to learn so they can join a workforce in a society that's pluralistic. It is time to close the gap and get over the rancor. It's time to listen to our young adults, especially our majority minority students who need to be seen, safe, and have tools to resolve disagreements. It shouldn't take a consent decree for us to be able to do this. Thank you.
Jess Stewart. I have spoken in front of this room on several occasions, but I have never spoken fully embracing my identity as an LGBTQ district employee because frankly, it has not felt safe. At the intersection of so many of my identities, I carry a lot of privilege. However, I still stand here tonight feeling extremely unsafe, but not ashamed. My name is Jess Stewart. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a proud LGBTQ 279 online teacher. I am asking the board tonight to truly accept me and all my humanity for the next 3 minutes, to reflect, to be vulnerable, and to own where you yourself may have caused some harm. In the wake of relentless transphobic and homophobic attacks, from slurs to acts of intentional misgendering, our queer and LGBTQ staff members are grappling with profound hurt and exhaustion. Our very existence is being erased, dismissed, and subjected to doubt. Will you join us in safeguarding our humanity and well-being? Our families of our LGBTQ scholars have shared their most precious gifts with us, and our system and humans in our system have repeatedly caused harm. We have failed to provide safe opportunities for their scholars to see representations of themselves in their coursework. We have allowed unjust parameters to be placed on their children's worth and have perpetuated harmful messages suggesting that their children are less than perfect. But the truth is, there is absolutely nothing wrong with their babies. They are perfect, and all parts of their children's identities are beautiful and have places in our schools. Do you support all of our families, or are you placing parameters on their worth? And most importantly, our LGBTQIA scholars, do you view them as your own, worthy of unconditional love and acceptance? Can you tell them that the harm repeatedly inflicted upon them is absolutely not a reflection of their worth or their beauty, that they matter, that their stories matter, that they serve as vital windows and mirrors reflecting the diversity and the richness of human experiences to their classmates, to their teachers, and to their administrators? Do you see them? Do you honor them? There's a Cherokee saying that states, in our traditional way of life, we believe that I don't tell you who you are. You tell me who you are, and that is who you are. It can be that simple. It can be that beautiful. It can be that magical if we just let it. So to my rainbow community, let's continue to tell the world who we are.
I am Jess. I am a gift. I am magic. I am beautiful. I am powerful, and I have intrinsic value. And no matter what anyone tells me or wants me to believe, I belong in Osseo area schools, and my stories belong in Osseo area schools, and my history belongs in Osseo area schools.
Jill Fry.
Good evening. My name is Jill Fry and I teach first grade at Rush Creek Elementary. The reason I am standing up here tonight is because I am concerned about our projected class sizes for next year. For this upcoming school year, first grade is losing 2 sections. If we were to take 5 students out of each class and make 1 more section, I would still have more students next year than I do now. As a teacher, it is frustrating never knowing what the district deems as a decent number of students from one year to the next. But I'm not here to talk about me. I'm here to advocate for our students and what they deserve. They deserve smaller class sizes. They deserve the extra support and time that it takes to deliver a differentiated education to each student. They deserve the extra support that is needed when they are struggling. They deserve not to fall through the cracks when their teacher has too many students and cannot give them their full attention. They deserve to feel important at school. We have amazing teachers and staff at Rush Creek and throughout the district, but no matter how hard we work, no matter how hard we try, we cannot give every student the education they deserve when our classrooms are bursting with students. In the fall of 2022, staff members were asked to encourage community members to vote for the Building a Better Future levy. While it technically didn't state that funds would be used to lower class sizes, this is what it did state. Without funding, $49 million would need to be cut in 2024-2025, resulting in, among many things, increased class sizes. Well, we passed the levy, and we are still increasing class sizes and cutting teachers for the upcoming school year. It is also common knowledge among staff members that our district has $100 million in non-allocated funds. So we have the funds to hire more teachers. Imagine what we could do for our students if we used just a portion of those funds to appropriately staff our schools. When we peel back the bureaucratic layers of education, it is our students that are at the core. If we lose sight of what is best for our students, we are doing them a huge disservice. I want Osseo to be a place that students and families flock to because they know they are getting an amazing education where the needs of each child is met. We need smaller class sizes to make this happen. I'm not asking you to do this for our teachers. I'm asking you to do this for our teachers, for our students. It is what they need and what they deserve. Lastly, what does this show our community? We asked them to open up their pockets and pay into our school district to pass a levy that should not be raising class sizes. If we can't stay true to our word now, why would they ever support us again when we need them? Thank you.
Lisa Munson.
Hi, my name is Lisa Munson. I raised my kids in the school district here. I've lived here over 20 years, and so I was just wanting to share something from the heart. I know some of us have came and spoke about the resolution over the last months, and I just want to make sure the board knows that just because some of us parents are talking about the resolution, trying to talk through how it's executed, maybe some flaws that are there, maybe how you're choosing some kids in one area, and then maybe still there could be concerns over girls' sports or talking about girls' locker rooms. These can all be true at the same time. All of us have people in the LGBTQ community in our lives, and they're people who we love, and as all of you said, they deserve respect and they're humans, and all of our kids, everybody deserves respect. So I just think you can't just throw out a whole group of people who have other ways of looking at this. There's still scientists, there's still psychologists, there's still so many people in the world trying to work out these ideas that have to do with sports, medications for children, all the different, when you should do the surgeries. These are all still being worked out with all of the experts. So you can't just act like it's all cut and dry and figured out, and this is the only way to go. So I just want you to know that just because people are against the resolution does not mean that they are heartless people who do not love people in LGBTQ community. And I wish we could all come together and just not make enemies out of each other, and try to find a way to really listen to each other. Thank you.
Deb Peterson.
Good evening. My name is Deb Peterson. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the parent of a Maple Grove High School graduate, and I am the Northwest Metro chapter lead for Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense. I'm here to speak today on the Two-Spirit LGBTQA gun victim and violence rates. You might notice I'm not wearing my mom's red shirt that you always see me in. Tonight I am wearing a shirt from the Altra Vida Brewery. And the person who owns this brewery is named Jess Fierro. He's a U.S. Army vet, and he took down the shooter in the Colorado Springs LGBTQ shooting at the nightclub. He lost his daughter's boyfriend named Raymond Green. And this is personal to me because I have a dear friend who attended that nightclub. And I spent hours trying to find out if he was okay. He was, but he lost many of his friends. The dehumanization that occurs with these shootings got me to get a tattoo, which you can see on my way out on my ankle, that says "Disarm Hate." And that is why I'm here tonight, to give you some statistics about what gun violence does in the LGBTQ Two-Spirit community. LGBTQ community is 2 times as likely as cis to be victims of gun violence. 8 in 10 Black trans women are killed in a homicide by gun violence. 29% of transgender youth are threatened with a weapon on a school property versus the 7% of cis students. That 16% of gay and lesbian students are threatened on school property with a weapon, compared to 7% of cis students. 40% of trans students or people and 20% of the LGBT community have attempted to remove themselves from this earth, as opposed to the 4% cis students. No one is allowed to erase people you don't like from society. Thank you.
That was our last speaker. Our next agenda item is the superintendent's report. Dr. Isle, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. All right, good evening, Chair Mosquito Jones and school board members. Our district's first strategic direction states to create safe, welcoming, and inclusive learning environments that foster global curiosity, belonging, innovation, and engagement. As we held our first high school advisory lesson in April, this was our goal. Our intention was for all of our scholars and staff to feel welcome and safe. Even with having this attention, it's important to recognize that after this lesson, Some may have felt recognized, and some have felt harmed. As we evaluate and always work towards continuous improvement, we will continue to ensure our students and our staff recognize and feel the goal of our work, where each and every individual in this system of Osseo Area School District feels welcome and included. As a district, and me myself as the leader of this district, it is important for all of us to know that we are committed to all of our babies or scholars. It has and will always continue to be about our scholars and about our staff. That will never change. Because through them, we represent the global curiosity that is stated in our first strategic direction that leads to belonging, innovation, and engagement. So once again, I want to state the quote from Justin Jones Fasu, who wrote this in Inclusive Mindset. Real diversity and inclusion doesn't mean that we will always agree. It means that even when we disagree, we can still respect each other. We can vehemently disagree with someone's ideology while passionately pursuing their humanity. At Osseo Area Schools, we see the human in all and will respect all. We will become Osseo Area Schools, one district for all, where we will see all, serve all, and support all. Thank you. A regular part of our superintendent's report is to share our points of pride. By sharing these points of pride, we're able to share time and recognize our babies, our scholars, staff, and our community members who are contributing to our mission, which states to inspire and prepare each and every scholar with the confidence, courage, and competence to achieve their dreams, contribute to community, engage in a lifetime of learning. And it's important for our mission not to just be words, but our mission to be action. So this evening, I have members of our district cabinet here to assist in sharing some examples from this last month.
In the area of achieving dreams, Osseo Area Schools, 3 comprehensive high schools recently released the names of their 2024 Athena Award winners, an award that recognizes outstanding senior female student athletes from Twin Cities metro area high schools. Congratulations to Danny Strom from Maple Grove Senior High School, Jules Davis from Osseo Senior High School, Allie Bloomberg from Park Center Senior High School. Congratulations to the hard work and creativity of the district students who submitted their work to the Minnesota Scholastic Arts Awards. Over 3,000 works were submitted from high schools throughout Minnesota this year. The art is submitted in 16 different categories: ceramics, drawing, photography, painting, sculpture, portfolio, fashion printmaking, design, film, mixed media, jewelry, digital art, expanded projects, comic art, editorial cartoon, and architecture, just to name a few. In total, district students won 25 Gold Key Awards, 31 Silver Key Awards, and 78 honorable mentions. CCX Media featured Northview Middle School for their Fun March Madness tradition, which gets kids active and engaged in their school community through some healthy competition. The tournament included a bracket and a staff versus students basketball game. No money changed hands, I was told. Students at Maple Grove Middle School were hard at work recently on their production of Frozen Jr. In addition to the shows for families and community members, the performers showed off their hard work during the school day on April 12th for their classmates, as well as 2nd and 4th graders from Cedar Island Elementary School. After the performance, the elementary students had the opportunity to ask questions to the cast. And as we saw in tonight's recognition, students in the Destination Imagination, or DI After School Club at Fernbrook Elementary School recently competed in the state competition with the team People of Pie taking first place and Technical for Real taking second place. DI challenges students to work to solve open-ended STEAM challenges designed to teach the creative process. People of Pie designed and built a working pinball machine and wrote a skit to present it. Congratulations to these talented students. Crestview Elementary students worked hard to bring the production Alice in Wonderland to life in a fun performance leading up to spring break. The story follows Alice, a curious and imaginative young girl who falls down a rabbit hole and finds herself in Wonderland, a place filled with peculiar characters and nonsensical events. The Osseo the Osseo Senior High School chess team recently competed at the Scholastic State Championship at the University of St. Thomas. The team tied for 11th place out of 18 teams. Congratulations. Osseo Area Schools recently received a Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting Award from the Association of School Business Officials International, or ASBO, for its 2023 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. Kelly Benusa, the District's Director of Business Services, said, "This recognition validates our commitment to fiscal integrity, and it translates into savings for our district because a higher bond rating means savings when issuing bonds at the lowest rate available to us." Students and families at Rice Lake Elementary School showed off their glow sticks and best dance moves at the Glow Dance on the evening of April 12th. The students danced to the popular songs played by the DJ, got temporary face tattoos, took their photo in a photo booth, and enjoyed snacks in the cafeteria.
In the area of contributing to community, CCX Media recently joined students and staff at Maple Grove Middle School as they put together hundreds of hygiene kits, which will be distributed to nonprofit Cross Services. 8th grade student Paisley Thompson said, "I definitely like being clean, and a lot of people do. So we can help a lot of people by doing this." For 57 years, Osseo Area Schools' current and former employees and community members have put on an annual variety show to raise money for scholarships to assist graduating students in their post-secondary plans. This year, the performers invited the community to come and check out the big game at Wasteback Skit Review 57. Great job to these dedicated performers. Students in the area of lifelong learning, students at the Osseo Education Center let their competitive side out on a recent all-school field trip to play pickleball. The students worked as a team while playing the popular game, with students and teachers who had played before helping out the students playing for the first time. The field trip let OEC students learn new skills while getting out of the classroom for some fun. Superintendent Dr. Kim Heil visited with 279 online staff and students before spring break. When she arrived, she was greeted by Ollie the Otter, the 279 online mascot, who showed her around. While there, Dr. Heil sat down with 279 online staff members to talk about what the year has looked like and what they need to be successful. Dr. Heil went into virtual elementary, middle, and high school classrooms, observing and talking with students about what they like about online school. She watched the lessons to see how students engage and interact during online learning. Adult Basic Education, or ABE, English language students and their families recently participated in a free Nature for English Learners class series in partnership with the Eastman Nature Center in Maple Grove to learn and explore what Minnesota parks have to offer. The class series was held on site at the Eastman Nature Center, part of the Three Rivers Park District, on Saturday afternoons during the month of March, and included times for learning with a naturalist educator in an indoor classroom and exploring the outdoors. Topics included map reading, animals, and trees found in Minnesota. 4th grade students at Oakview Elementary School have had the opportunity to hear from Lieutenant Colonel Nicole Jansen, who is an Air Force pilot, and Alma Sida, immigration attorney, during Women's History Month. The speakers joined the students virtually to talk about their careers and what it took to pursue their passions. Lieutenant Colonel Jansen shared about all of the things she does as an instructor for the Air Force. She helped one of the 4th graders, Piper, figure out what career path she can take to become an astronaut one day. Sita shared with students about her favorite case she had to defend, which was helping her mom get her U.S. citizenship. 6th graders at Osseo Middle School recently had the opportunity to hear from Care 11 meteorologist Jamie Cagle. The students learned what it was like to be a meteorologist and heard from Cagle about a number of topics they are learning in class. Basswood Elementary School recently hosted a math and science night where students and their families could participate in various STEM activities. The night helped to create a passion for learning and foster a potential future in math and science for many of these students.
School libraries have evolved significantly since most district parents were in school themselves. Some of them, including Birch Grove School for the Arts, now even include their own 3D printers. Birch Grove Media Specialist Eleanor Chauvin has been working with students during their regular library media time since February to teach them the Tinkercad program, which creates 3D digital designs in a way that students can grasp. Fair Oaks Elementary School invited Minnesota author, public speaker, and teacher Kyle Kalia Yang to the school for both students and families to see and hear some of her latest books and learn about her life and story. Fourth graders at Elm Creek Elementary School recently hosted a music program for their families and community members. The students performed a variety of songs, including Eye of the Tiger, We Quarter Will Rock You, Juba Jive, Cha-Cha Chihuahua, and the Elm Creek Eagles song. The musicians played recorders and drums to accompany their singing. Students in Monica Healy's class at Oakview Elementary School dove into music during Music in Our Schools Month with a March Madness song bracket. Each week, students voted on the matchups after listening to them in music class. The song with the most votes moved on to the next week. This was done in each music class over the course of the school day. All the songs in the bracket had a baby theme. Following along with the baby theme, pictures of staff members as babies were featured in the hallway next to the March Madness bracket. Students could take guesses throughout the month of which staff member they thought went with each baby picture. I want to know which song won. Okay. Each Wednesday morning since early January, a group of 8 Birch Grove School for the Arts students have spent over an hour with a staff member from Urban Boat Builders and high school volunteers from Breck School to tackle a hands-on project, building longboard skateboards from scratch. The longboards are scheduled to be complete in late April, and the group leaders said they have a fun finale planned. In the area of mission-driven employees, Chris Goodbangan keeps Park Center senior high students active in learning unique skills as a physical education and health teacher and the leader of the school's popular Outdoor Adventures class. Goodbangan said of being a teacher, "It's extremely difficult, but if you set your expectations and you don't waver with them, it can be so much fun. Being able to get the kids outside and experience something new is so rewarding." Learn more about this on our latest staff spotlight and our website. Osseo Area Schools currently employs 17 occupational therapists who work with students from birth through transition age within special education programming. Every April, the American Occupational Therapy Association, AOTA, celebrates Occupational Therapy Month. The celebration honors the profession and the meaningful differences OTs make in the lives of others. We highlighted 2 of our dedicated OTS on our district website and social media. Thank you to all of our OTs. Maple Grove Senior High School science teacher Ryan Hennessy was recently announced as one of 27 Minnesota Teacher of the Year semifinalists. He has taught at Maple Grove Senior High School for 3 years and was at Maple Grove Middle School for 6 years before that. Hennessy said, "My favorite thing about being a teacher is definitely the students. They make every day different. I like finding ways to make science fun and enjoyable."
Thank you, team, and thank you to each and every one of our district staff person and people who work here each day in our district. You are appreciated. Kindergarten orientation events are currently taking place at our district elementary schools throughout the month of April and May. So to learn more about those visits, you can check it out at our district website. We also encourage you to join us at the 27th Annual American Indian Education Powwow. That's on Saturday, April 27th at Osseo Middle School. The grand entry begins at 1 p.m. And then our big celebration of District 279 Foundation Investment in Youth Celebration, which recognizes the many achievements and success stories of our scholars, staff, and volunteers in Osseo Area School, is being held on Saturday, May 5th. Just as a reminder, there will be no schools for students on Monday, May 6th. This is a licensed staff workshop day. Once again, we thank all of our parents and caregivers for the privilege of educating your child each day. And that concludes tonight's superintendent report.
Thank you, Dr. Heil. Our next agenda item is school board reports. Director Brooks, do you have a report?
I just have one quick report. The RISE committee had their last meeting last Thursday, April 18th. The meeting consisted of a story stitch activity to get parents and staff talking about their stories, and then, which is actually one of the points of the committee. And then the second part of it was a repeat of the HR presentation that we had in the work session. So I think similar to a lot of the questions that we had a couple weeks ago, just wanting more data to make sure that the programs that we are invested in are actually working and reaching their intended audiences. And then I think one of the things that stuck out to me the most in that meeting that I didn't hear in the work session was the phrase, retention is recruitment, in the sense that our prospective teachers that we're hopefully going out and competing hard for are just as heavily invested in what we're doing to keep teachers and staff as they are compensation and et cetera. So that was actually a great meeting. I'm looking forward to more data the next time we get that presentation from HR. So that's it.
Thank you, Director Douglas.
I do not have any reports today.
Okay, Director Prince.
Yes, so DPAC, the District Planning Advisory Committee, met. The committee is still working on their recommendations that they will present to us at the I think end of May. So they're still working through those. Really excited to see what they bring forward this year. It's a very well thought out process, really a deep dive. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we had the Brooklyn Bridge Alliance for Youth board meeting, and one of the highlights in the work there was the fact that they received a $1.6 million, I think you guys all saw that come through, grant for after school. It's an after school community learning grant. One item that I want to call your attention to in it is one of those after school proposals and programs, and I do hope you get a chance to look at that packet. It's a lot of pages, but it's very in depth with what they're planning to do with the grant and how it's going to be executed. Objective 3, encourage school attendance and improve academic performance, goal 3. And what they're working on is a new model for culturally responsive tutoring. And there's a couple activities in there that I thought you might find interesting. One is to bring culturally diverse tutors to after school, willing to help youth understand academic concepts, finish homework, and practice language skills. And then a second piece of that, bringing students who excel academically to the after school time, who are willing to help their peers understand academic concepts and finish homework. And so one of the significant benefits that resonated to me that I thought would resonate with this board was around ensuring that more students are able to are interested and receive the benefit of participating in after-school programs because they have the opportunity to be working with somebody that speaks their language and shares their culture to really help remove barriers and build self-efficacy. So we've talked a lot about attendance, about some of the opportunities to help improve outcomes, and this is one that's quite exciting to be available in our community. I know the different sites are still being worked on, but regardless of exactly what sites it is, it will be in our community that serves our district. So do take a look at that packet and check out the details.
That sounds really exciting. Director Grady.
Yes, I want to wish everyone a happy Pride Month in Osseo area schools. This is a time to celebrate the LGBTQIA+ community, which brings diversity, intellect, and creativity to our whole Osseo community. We need to celebrate that over 5,000 high school students participated in the lesson as a part of the LGBTQIA history and culture resolution. However, I also want to recognize that many students were also harmed by students opting out of the lesson. And even adults, we recognize that given the option to walk out of class or stay for a lesson, to say that students left for the lesson only because they walked out on the humanity of students isn't true. Some of them just walked out because they're teenagers, and that's what they do. But I still understand that many were hurt as classmates walked out. Because your humanity, none of our humanity is optional. Learning about your humanity, the LGBTQ community humanity, teaches compassion and kindness, which is a good thing for everybody to learn. As a proud parent of LGBTQIA+ children, I want all in the LGBTQ community to know that you deserve to be loved and supported unconditionally. Your humanity is not optional, and no one should ever be able to opt out of your humanity. People may have different beliefs. Everybody's entitled to have their own beliefs. But just because you don't believe something exists doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Because there are LGBTQ teachers and staff and students in our district that deserve all of our respect. It was a mixed bag this year, but we're making progress. And I really want to be so grateful and thank you to all of the community members and our staff that worked so hard on building this LGBTQI lesson. Yeah, it could have gone in more depth, but it didn't. But what it did is provide a shared sense of language that we can use to understand other people. Because that's why we're here. We're here to learn. We're here to prepare students to serve in the world community, a world that's full of rich diversity. That's how we learn from people. That's who we need to be, and that is really, truly who the Osseo Area Schools community represents. Once again, happy Pride Month. Thank you, everybody who worked so hard to make this month happen.
Okay, at this time, I have a short 287 report. We had one meeting that was mostly financial items like long-term facility maintenance plan. There was a special meeting for settling the contract with the teachers and the ESPs. Very happy that passed. There was a spotlight on the North Education Center and the work they do there. And then we had a policy meeting where we went through the rest of the student policies to present to the board for this Thursday. The next agenda item is the consent agenda. The consent agenda includes standard business items requiring approval such as meeting minutes, financial reports, personnel items, and extended educational trips. Board members, are there any items you would like to remove for separate consideration on the consent agenda? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as written?
So moved.
All right, moved by Director Grady. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Prince. All in favor, is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes 5-0. Okay, our big one action item this evening is the gifts to the district. Is there a motion to approve gifts to the districts totaling, well, this is a good one, are you ready? $251,765.43, thank you.
So moved.
All right. Moved by Director Douglas and second by Director Brooks. Any discussion? Should we all say it together?
Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion passes surprisingly 5-0. That was sarcasm. I'm Irish. Our next agenda item is informational items, and General Counsel Amy Moore will have the podium virtually, to share information for the first reading of policies 613, 616, 624, 641, and 644. Counsel.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
evening, directors. I'll just get going. Policy that you have them in the agenda at the back. 613 is regarding graduation requirements, and we have a couple of updates, including earth space science in part of the science credits, and then adding that there will be 1 credit in personal finance between grades 10 and 12. and then correcting the next one to 18 instead of 19 because we did that addition. And those are the only updates that we are looking at for graduation requirements. The next one, policy 616, world's best workforce. There are no proposed updates or revisions to the policy, but we wanted to provide you, for your information, some updates to the definition part of the procedure as it relates to world's best workforce. And you can see those there, saying that all children are school ready, all racial and economic achievement gaps between students are closed, all students are ready for college and career, and that all students graduate from high school. So updating that definition of what world's best workforce means in the procedure. Then next is policy, and this is the most significant change that you'll see. Policy 624 used to be online learning option, or is currently, and we're proposing a change even to the title to online instruction. And you will see a lot of crossouts in the policy as well as the procedures. And then really as you get towards the back end of the procedures, you'll see the updates that reflect kind of where we are currently in Minnesota statute as it relates to online learning options. I'm not going to go through that in detail, but if you do have any substantive questions, Director Gonzalez has been kind to stick around to answer any of those questions. But it really was meant to get us up to date into what the current policy should be. You see, the last time it was looked at was in 2015. There have been some changes on online instruction since then. And then policy 641 for alternative instruction is a pretty simple update from film strips to represent today's terminology of audio and visual recordings, as well as presentations. So just, yeah, kind of those language. And then policy 644, community resource persons, and its procedure. In looking at it, we actually felt that even though it hasn't been looked at in a while, it still is relevant to what happens today, so we're not proposing any updates to that. And that is the extent of what will be before you next month for the vote. It will be posted online for public to comment. Happy to take any questions. Yes.
I have one about the online instruction. In the supplemental online courses, there's let's see, it's B3, I think. Applied to take supplemental online courses no later than 15 days after the student's enrolling district's term has begun. An enrolling district may waive the 50% course enrollment limit or the 15-day limit. I just wanted to clarify, so if a student enrolls in our district at a point beyond the start of the term, are they still eligible to enroll in a supplemental online instructional program, even if it's been 15 days since the term started? Say they enroll in our district 30 days in, or something. Is that still?
You want my attorney answer? Is it sometimes it will depend, right? But Robin, have you?
So that is direct statute language in the way that MDE has the guidance on what the statute has. But the way it's written and in there, districts have the ability to take into consideration exemptions or ability to take students in after that deadline. It was put into place to try and normalize across the state because every online school had different windows of when they could notify and accept students to try and get that into a space where all online schools or online programs were kind of operating within similar time frames and windows. And it applies less to a student who's coming and enrolling full-time in Osseo area schools and then taking our supplemental, and applies more to students who are not enrolled as our district and are taking our supplemental online courses. Just like we have students that will take courses at North Star Online or Minnetonka Online or Eden Prairie Online just partially as a supplemental to what their full-time enrollment is here with our district. So it's really targeting that particular student versus a full-time enrolled student within our system.
Thank you for that clarification. I really appreciate that. And I know that we've discussed in the past how important it is to have some guidelines so that we don't have kids constantly moving in and out of different program areas. But I really appreciate the acknowledgement that there is flexibility within that, because there's always extenuating circumstances and individual situations to be accounted for. So thank you.
I just have one question about the same policy. I'm guessing, and just correct me if I'm wrong, that a lot of the crossouts are because we're starting to do some of the supplemental classes more often because they seem very traditional. Do you know what I'm saying? Is that about?
Yeah, I would say yes to that, and there was, again, significant overhaul in the statute that regulated around supplemental online learning as they modernized most recently around what that process looked like. It had been several years since the state or legislature had taken any review as to what online learning meant, and school districts and programs like ours have significantly progressed since, you know, the inception of supplemental online learning as a state.
Yeah, when I saw all those, I was like, what? And then then I read them. Thank you. Any other questions for council? Our final agenda item is adjournment. There will not be a closed session for negotiating strategies this evening. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting at 7:25?
So moved.
All right, moved by Director Brooks. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Prince. Any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. The motion passes 5-0, and it's adjourned at 7:25 p.m. And happy birthday to Dr. Heil. Go celebrate.
I'm gonna do that someday.